So, did I have time to cry or scream or holler? No. I jumped straight into business. I had time to pray. A coworker of mine gave me a ride there to where exactly where it was at. I looked before we went there. I looked on a GPS app called Waze, and I was able, because in my mind I knew exactly where it was at, even though he didn't tell me exactly. I just felt where it was at, and I was able to find that accident on the Waze. I knew exactly where it was at. Told my daughter where it was at. She drove by over there to find it. She got there fast. I get there. Do I break down? Absolutely not. I don't have time. I don't have time to think about crying. I don't have time to think about woe is me. My focus is on my husband. My focus is on the father of my children. This is what my focus is on, my best friend. I don't have time to cry and whine and woe is me. I get there. I see the guy who did that. I see the guy who hit my husband. He's sitting in the car, Caucasian male, looking meaner than a snake. I go up, I say, "You the MF for that hit." And before I could say anything, something pushed me away and directed my steps toward the back of the ambulance. And that's what I did. Before I can even say anything to him, the police officer said, "Ma'am, please don't speak to him." I said, "Of course you guys would say that. Of course you would." But at the same time, something pushed me away and put me in the back of the ambulance with my husband. Husband has all of his left side of his clavicle dislocated. The clavicle joint is jammed up almost where his shoulder is at. Ribs bruised, um, ligaments torn, constant pain, sternum bruised. His SC sternoclavicle joints have lodged into his sternum, back of his scapula. All of this whole left side is jacked up, all because of a moment of stupidity from the other man. A moment of stupidity. Seriously? You're mad because my husband is passing you? Why would you get over in a lane that's merging? My husband's in the merging lane to merge over. If you didn't want to let him pass, okay, speed up. But why are you getting mad because he's in that lane to merge over to go straight? Why? You guys are going 35, and if he's going 50 because it's 55, or he's going 45, 50, why are you mad? You get over in a merging lane to pit maneuver him. What's the reason? None. But if you're late running to work, why wouldn't you just do what you're supposed to do? No, because of hatred, racism, biases, whatever you call it. I'm not even going to call it race car. I'm not going to call it discrimination. It's downright hatefulness. Hatefulness. You know, the state trooper said to us when we were in the hospital, this trooper said, "This man, that man who hit you," he said, "he had an intention," meaning he did not have complete, he was not paying attention. Inattention. He was straddling both lanes. He said, honestly, it was pure stupidity. Stupidity. Wow. A state trooper said that. And you know what else this trooper said? Because my husband has a rap sheet about a mile long from over 2.5, 3 decades ago. Over 3 decades ago. He tells my husband, he said, "I'm not going to look at your record because that has nothing to do with it." So that means to tell me a lot of the other officers were already looking at the record, because it was about six to eight officers there. So they're already looking at this person's in an accident. He could have died. My husband, the man pit maneuvered him. When he pit maneuvered him, my husband hit a guardrail, which was like a rubber band, bounced him from the guardrail, threw him over the other side, flipped over, I don't know how many times, and landed at the bottom he says a ravine, I says embankment. Regardless, he was at the very bottom. Off the ramp is up here. He landed across the street down there. Was it necessary? No. Could it have been avoided? Absolutely. From my husband's standpoint, no, it couldn't have been avoided because he didn't think the man was coming over there. He said he saw the man, so he tried to move over out of the man's way to get over out of his way, and the man hit him purposely. Purposely. And do you know the audacity of this man? He did not even say, "Dang, my bad," or "I apologize," or "Are you okay?" or "Can I help you get up from at the very bottom of that ravine?" Through the woods, he nipped a tree. The car is totaled. His whole front side is all jacked up. Do you know what this white man said to my husband? And yes, I'm saying white man because my husband is a indigenous person of color. Okay? He said, "You stupid mother effer." When my husband told me this, and of course he told the 911 operator, and other people heard that man say that. When my husband told me this, tears swelled up in my eyes because I get people don't like blacks. I get people don't like whites. I get people don't like black men. I get people may not like people who drive Hondas. That's fine. But where is the humanity? Really? So for that man, I pray that God breaks his hard, cold heart and gives him a sense of compassion, because you know what? The unjust does not prosper. And he is going to, I hate to say it, but God forbid he gets into a situation worse than that and get treated worse than that. You don't do wrong to people at the end of the day. If I'm cut and you're cut, we're going to bleed the same. My red might be lighter, your red might be darker, but damn it, it's still red. When I go outside and you do the same thing, we all breathe the same. So stop the hate. Stop the ridicule. Stop the racism. Stop the discrimination. Stop, stop, stop. And start looking at everyone as a human and loving. Love. He didn't have to go over there and give my husband a hug. He could have just said, I'm sorry. Are you okay? But he couldn't even put his hateful, I believe he was from Ohio. Nothing against people from Ohio. Then again, I don't know, maybe he just moved here. I don't know the situation. His license plate tag was from Ohio. Maybe he was from North Carolina. I don't know. He could have been from New York. I have no idea. But put your hateful ass pride down. Put aside your career. Put aside your upbringing if it was negative. Put aside the hatefulness and bring in humanity. The key word in humanity is human. Everybody is a human. Treat them accordingly. They say, do unto others as you have them do unto you. Treat others fairly. Treat others with compassion. Treat others with empathy. And I guarantee your karma would be immaculate. You will have the best of the best. But if you don't, again, I say the unjust will never, never prosper. Everything that you do in hate and negativity, in a negative manner, it comes back to you tenfold worse. Everything that you do in love and in a positive manner, it comes back to you tenfold and more. Whatsoever a man or woman sow, that shall they reap. You reap what you sow. The way you have my husband at the bottom down there, and you did that with full hatred and intention, I promise you, you will never prosper. You will never do great from that, because that's complete hate. And I thank God my son wasn't in the car with him. Usually he rides with my son in the car. It was early, the beginning of the rising, where he just dropped me off. But it could have been the afternoon. My son could have been in the car, and it wouldn't have been nothing the cops can do. Nothing. Nothing. So I just pray that people learn to get back to the basics of life and be human again. Be human. At the end of the day, y'all, we're all we have. Doesn't matter what color your skin, doesn't matter if you're tall, short, male, female, transgender, if you're lesbian, if you're homosexual, if you're queer, it doesn't matter. You're a human. Doesn't matter if you're black, if you're white, if you're Asian, if you're Indian, if you're African. It doesn't matter. You're human. All right. Love and peace to all. Love and light.